everybody. Last night I asked you to take the rest of these rectangular prisms and find the volume using our formula, length times width times height. And just to recap, that's what we did here with each one of these rectangular prisms. We identified the length, and then we identified the width, and then we identified the height, and created our multiplication problem, and then multiplied in order to find the volume. Now you also want to remember that since we are finding capacity, or how much we can put inside of the rectangular prism, the unit will be cubed. It's how many cubes we can fit inside of a rectangular prism to tell how much it's capable of holding. That's kind of where the word capacity comes from. So we're going to start with number 6, and you should be checking your papers. You should not be doing this for the first time. So I want you to stop the video if you haven't done this yet. And so this is just for you to check to make sure that you're understanding volume. And I want you to give me an email if you're not understanding this, okay? And I can help you out. All right, so we're on number 6. So again, we are sticking with our, finding our length first. So we've got the length of 3. We've got the width of 2. And then we've got the height of 3. So you should have that as your multiplication problem. And then remember, we're multiplying from left to right. We've got 6 times 3 equals 18. And remember, when we write it up here, it's going to be centimeters cubed. So it's 18 centimeters cubed. I also want to point out the reason I'm saying centimeters and not units is because they give me the measurement. So it says measured in centimeters. So we know what to write for that. So that's something that we need to be careful of, and we need to make sure that we're checking and we're not writing just units when they give you how it's measured. All right, number 7. So we've got the length of 6, width of 9, and height of 8. So then we have 6 times 9, which is a basic fact, and then we have 54 times 8. So that's something that I'm going to write out. 54 times 8. I've got 8 times 4 is 32. Remember, I write the 32 so I can see that 32. I still see where that, the 3 10s, where that's going. So then we have 8 times 50, which we know is 400. And then we have times 3, which is going to be 430. When we write it, we see the 430, although we had the 2 already in the ones column. So 432 centimeters cubed. 432 centimeters cubed. All right, number 8. I hope you're doing good so far. Remember, if you have trouble with this, you can always email me. All right, number 8. So we have the length of 8, the width of 6, and the height of 3. 8 times 6 is 48 times 3. So we write that out, 48 times 3. We've got 3 times 8, which is 24. I can see the 24 is still there. The 2 10s moved up here in the tens column. So we've got 3 times 40 is 120, 130, 140. 144 centimeters cubed. 144 centimeters cubed. All right. Number 9. Length of 8, width of 4, height of 5. 8 times 4 is 32, times 5. 32 times 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 30 is 150. 10 more is 160. 160 centimeters cubed. All right, last one, number 10. Length of 3, width of 9, height of 8. 3 times 9 is 27 times 8. So we write out 27 times 8. 8 times 7 is 56. 8 times 20 is 160. 170, 180, 190, 200, 210. So it's 216 centimeters cubed. 216 centimeters cubed. All right, so I hope as you were checking that, you were finding that you are understanding how to find volume using the formula. Now I've got another thing that I want to talk about today. Now remember our nets that we made in order to put the cubes in there to find out the capacity of a certain rectangular prism. I have several of them. I have this one, I have this one, and then I also have this one. Now what would happen if a few of those cubes fell out? Would I still be able to find the volume? Well, I would probably have to rearrange these so I could still find the height, the length, the width, and the height in order to use my formula. So I have a paper for that today, and I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to assign some for you to try on your own. So these are kind of like little puzzles. So it's kind of like taking what we've already been doing and just applying it in a different way. So you'll notice here that I have some rectangular prisms, and they're not all full. They have some of the blocks missing. But as long as I have the length, the width, and the height, I can still find the volume. So just because some of these blocks are missing doesn't mean I have to freak out and say, oh, there's no way I can find out how much the capacity or the volume is for that rectangular prism. So I'm going to take a look at this first one, and I can see that the height right here, these go all the way to the top. So I'm okay with the height, and the length, I'm okay with that. And the width, I'm okay with that. So the blocks are there so that I can figure those out, okay? So I'm going to start off with my length, and my length is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to identify this as my length, this is my width, and this is the height. I can write it here, but it's also found right here. So the length, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Times the width, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, times the height, which is 2. We're going to use the same method we did before. We're going to multiply left to right. So we've got 6 times 5 is 30, times 2 is 60. And up here, now I'm looking at my measurement. Now it's not telling me a certain measurement. So here I'm going to have to write units cubed. So my answer is going to be 60 units cubed. Okay? All right, so let's take a look at the next one. Now, some of those fell out too, but I can tell here I'm okay because this goes all the way to the top. So I've got my length, my width, and I can write my height, the H right here for the height. So my length is 1, 2, 3, 4. My width, 1, 2, 3. And my height, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now I have to do is multiply left to right. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times 4 is 48. And again, it's going to be 48 units cubed. I could go ahead and write it here too. Units cubed. All right, I need to identify again. I've got my length, my width, and my height. Makes it easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This kind of looks like a shoebox. That's what it reminds me of, but I like shoes, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And my height, 1, 2. So I've got 7 times 4 is 28 times 2. Well, I know if I have two 20s, I have 40. And if I have two 8s, I have 16. So I'm using my mental math here in order to figure this instead of writing it up and down. So I've got 40 and 16, and I put that together, and I get 56. So I've got 56 units cubed. All right, so here I identify my length, my width, and my height. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 again. My width, 1, 2, 3, 4. And my height, 1, 2, 3. So now I've got 28 times 3. When I go back here though, I know that 56 is 2 28s. So I know that this is going to be more than 56. So I'm kind of using my reasonableness of an answer. So if I do something wrong and I notice that it's either really close to 56 or under 56, I know I've done something incredibly wrong. So I'm going to go ahead and write out 3 times 8 is 24. And then I've got 3 times 20, that's 60, 70, 80. So I know that I've done a good job. 84 units cubed. So as of reasonableness of an answer, it's not close to that. It's probably 28 away. If I went ahead and added that up, I would get that that's 28 away. And I know that when I'm multiplying, I've got groups of something. So here I've got 3 groups of 28. Units cubed. Remember to write the units cubed. All right. So again, we've got to identify length, width, height. So I've got my length, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Times 1, 2, 3. And then the height is 2. So I've got 24 times 2. 2 24s, well, I know that 2 20s is 40. And then I've got 2 times 4, I know is 8, just put them together. I've got my 48 units cubed. See, we're using our mental math strategies here too. We don't always have to write it out because a lot of these we can reason with mental math. All right, so we've got length, width, height. So the length is 1, 2, 3, 4. The height, or the width, is 3, and the height is 3. So I've got 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times 3 is 36 units cubed. So I'll write 36 units cubed. All right, length, width, and height. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is the length. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is the width. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is the height. 8 times 5 is 40. 40 times 4. Now we're getting back into our multiples. So remember when we talked about multiples of 10 and how easy they are to multiply. So if I have 4 40s, I've got 2 40s would be 80. And then if I double that, that would be 160. And that's what my answer is, 160. I can also look at this and say, well, when I multiply 4 times 0, I don't get anything. It's a 0 still. And then when I have 4 40s, this is 16, it would be 160. So we can look at that 2 different ways to check and to use mental math instead of writing anything out. 160 units cubed. All right, let's take a look at the last one. So we've got length, width, and height. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Width, 1, 2, 3. And height, 1, 2, 3. So we've got 5 times 3, because we always go left to right, 15. 15 times 3. So we've got 3 times 5 is 15, and I know that 3 times 10 is 30. So I've got 30 plus 15. When I put those together, again, I'm using my mental math. When I put those together, I get 45. 45 units cubed. 45 units cubed. So you'll notice with each one of these, I wrote out the length, width, and height. I identified those before I started so that that would give me a basis for how I was going to use my formula. So then I put the formula together, replacing the L, W, and H with the values from the blocks. Then I went ahead and multiplied. Now I showed my work. For the assignment that I have for you today, I want you to show your work. So the assignment that I have for you looks a lot like this. the shoe boxes or the rectangular prisms, whatever you want to call them, because they kind of look like, some of them look like shoe boxes. So it will look a lot like this, but it won't be exactly like this. But you can use this as an example for how you do your assignment. So all of my assignments are listed on my webpage, and what I named the videos will match what I named the assignment. So you'll know which assignment to copy off for each video. Again, if you have any questions or concerns about an assignment, you can always email me and I will get in touch with you, and we can figure out where you're not understanding so that I can best help you. All right? I want you to keep watching and always keep learning.